Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and this is a style of content that I haven't done in a while. This is less gaming news and more consumer awareness, and a bit of a call-out involving the more shady underbelly that is the indie gaming market. I've been thinking long and hard about the style of content I'd transition to, and I've realized that while I am rather good at delivering industry news topics and commentary on those topics, they really aren't my bread and butter, and I don't want to reach the point where they're the primary focus on my channel. Now, recall what the great Total Biscuit once told me. What you and Jem, he meant Jem Sterling, are doing for the indie market is valuable and necessary. Now, those words have rattled around in my brain these past few weeks, and I decided that I wanted to get more invested into the indie market again, as that was basically where I made my mark and where I can end up doing the most good. Now, that said, there are a lot of things that can land a developer on the list of the dirty devs, most notable of which, and basically the most surefire method of attaining such ranking, is to actively silence critique in order to protect your wallet. And that is what we have today with Hell of Men Blood Brothers. Now, this information came to me from the YouTuber Dad's Gaming Addiction nearly a month ago, and I feel pretty guilty that it's taken me this long to get around to. What with all the AAA industry nonsense, it sort of fell by the wayside, but definitely not forgotten. The dispute surrounds Hell of Men Blood Brothers. It is an extremely unfinished RTS that is currently in early access for $12, and as I myself am a rather avid RTS fan, I thought I would give it an honest bash before I created this video. And not to beat around the bush, this game is so early in its development, uninspired, basic, and so lacking in anything that could even be considered fun that I dread any title of this quality being offered to the public. And the reason I say this is that while I spent merely half an hour within the game, it was without a doubt one of the more painful ways I could think of to spend a half hour of my life that I'll now never get back. The AI is virtually non-existent, the controls are not at all adequate, and the game itself in its current state is dull and plotting at every conceivable level, and as with any game in active development, there are bugs and glitches galore. And try as I might, I could not find a single positive thing to say about this game, and I personally do not feel that it is even ready to be considered an early access release, and it is certainly not worth the $12 asking price. And on top of that, the developer has deliberately and knowingly silenced critique against the game. Dad's Gaming Addiction, which the channel name alone is likely to get this video demonetized, but if we're going to be damned, let's be damned for who we really are. Dad's Gaming Addiction played this horrendously pre-alpha game and created a review of said game on YouTube, and then also posted it onto the video segment of the Steam storefront for the game. I did watch the critique in question, which is currently still available on Dad's Gaming Addiction's YouTube channel, and I found it to be rather accurate, actually far more forgiving of the game than I would have been if I were to conduct a full review. As a result of that critique, the developers removed the review under the guise of it violating Steam's community and content guidelines. The developers are afforded this ability by Steam in order to make certain non-related content or even pornography is uploaded to a storefront that it can be removed quite rapidly. That video removal also has the added pitfall for Dad's Gaming Addiction of his ability to upload videos being blocked by Steam for 48 to 72 hours. Now, in the comments of that video, Whacky Squad Studio, the developer, said the following, and this is from the video footage on Dad's Gaming Addiction's video discussing the removal. "You are lowering our product while it is in early access. We offer it to you so that you can make it known and encourage people to get involved in development by helping us and thus create a community. This is not the case here. Many updates are planned, the multiplayer mode, the options menu, which should arrive soon. We are open to any questions. It is sometimes nice to meet the developers to know the future of the game. We are available on our Discord, mail, and Steam Hub." And that statement took me by surprise a little bit, given the developers' complete lack of understanding as to how all of this works. When you, as a developer, provide a critic with a key to your game, it does not at all ensure that the critique of your game is going to be positive. If that were the case, the purpose of critics and of critique itself would become beyond meaningless. Nor is it appropriate to assume that the critic would provide you with offline feedback in order to make your game better. It is the developer's job to make the game better. It is the critic's job to provide information and their opinion on the current state of that game to the gamers, not the developer. Simply providing a critic with a key for your game does not in any way make them beholden to you. No, a critic's job is to review the game as it is in its current state. And yes, the game is in early access and likely to change, but the moment you are asking people to spend money on your game, then it is, to my mind, fair and appropriate that people are provided with critique of the product that they are being asked to spend money on. And gamers know full well that a review of an early access title given enough time might not be representative of the current build or even of the final product. They're not stupid after all, but they do deserve access to information if they are seeking it, and by removing this video from the Steam storefront in a deliberate attempt to avoid negative critique and to actively silence it, denies them that. And that is why Whacky Squad Studio can take their rightful place amongst the dirty devs. Not for delivering a bad product, not for delivering a laughably unready product into early access, but for actively attempting to silence negative critique of their game in order to protect future sales. And on top of that, I'm absolutely amazed this developer has the unmitigated gall to charge $12 for this mess and honestly expect people to pay it. This is, at best, a $3 title. If you want a decent RTS at a comparable price, I would suggest you take a look at 8-Bit Armies or really any of the games in the 8-Bit RTS series by Petroglyph. They are extremely well made, have a good fourth wall breaking story that makes fun of both themselves and RTS games of old, and 8-Bit Armies itself is a completely finished game and available on Steam for just $3 more. But circling back to Whacky Squad Studio for a moment longer, critique is important, vitally so within the games industry. It not only helps curb the excesses of developers and publishers, which I would consider the price tag alone on this title evidence of excess itself, but it can be taken by a responsible developer as a method and a means of highlighting the good points and pointing out the bad. Silencing critique in order to protect future sales is at best reprehensible and at worst outright malicious. Welcome to the Dirty Devs. I hope you enjoy your stay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.